Well, well, well. Look what the cat dragged in. How's it going, champions? Doing a Sunday live stream. Don't know why. Should have done one yesterday, but just got straight into work. Welcome any newcomers. Joining us from Lyle's stream. He was gracious enough to let me put up my link. Sorry, I'm just sorting my stuff out. 1 second. All right. What am I even doing today? It's a lot less organised over here, champions. But we'll do what we can. So first thing, I've got to inspect a Vibrolux, custom Vibrolux. I wonder how custom it is. Reissue. Reports of ticking tremolo. But all the other issues that you get with reissue fenders, which he wants to address, throw a bit of money at it and make it reliable. All the fenders have some common issues. The reissues, the biggest one being their shitty capacitors that I'm sure you've heard about. Been discussing capacitors in Lyle's live stream as well. I tend to use Tube Amp Doctor because they're readily available here. We've got an importer that sells them at a reasonable price. Used to use F&T before they were coming into the country. Used to use F&T before TAD were being brought in. Oops. Careful. Don't want to ream out a screw head. But F&T, yeah, it's like, God. I think like 47 watt, 500 volt caps, like $15. Ah, chassis straps, come on. Thank you. All right, do we have freedom, horrible freedom? We have foil trying to come with the chassis, as is always the case. Let's do our best to try and not peel it all off. Would have been nice, an extra millimeter of clearance would have been nice. Thank you, fender. Tangle of leads. God, just getting the chassis out. Rigmarole. All right. Live stream with no one on the screen. Anyway, hi Brad. Because of the time zone, I will not be viewing it live, but please don't turn on the ads every 3 minutes. I don't turn that on. YouTube turns that on. When I do a live stream, I've got it set so there's no... I've said this a million times, but no one ever fucking listens. They just whinge about it every time. I turn off pre-roll ads. And YouTube turns it back on again. And I'm getting kind of sick of turning it off all the time. And generally, no one really watches the live streams a day or two after they've been live. So when YouTube reverses my specified settings and puts its own fucking settings on there, I don't have time to go back and change it all. So pay for YouTube Premium, we'll get an ad blocker like everyone else does. You live in a corporate world, mate. You send emails to the bus company and tell them to stop putting ads in front of your face when they drive past you on the street. Today's double feature, yeah. Don't normally do a live stream on a Sunday. Normally do it on a Saturday. Gonna get the color balance. I think I bumped the knob on the back of the LED light. Started looking a bit jaundiced there for a minute. Have Lyle open a separate window. Yeah, I do the little welcome screen just so I can check that everything's working before I hit live button. Check that everything's stable. Morning, Mum. Morning, Dad, I assume. There he is. Morning, Mum. Morning, Dad. So yeah, I can go back and manually change it all for the ads, but just get an ad blocker. I'll pay for YouTube Premium, man. I used to go back and change them all, but the views for live streams like this, and then no one watches them later. You know, there might be one or two people that catch up, but generally it's a kind of you have to be there kind of thing, just like most of my jokes. So, let's have a quick look under the can. We've got the overhead camera working, yeah. Look at that. Everything's working. What are the odds? Look a little pale though. I think I messed up my white balance. Yeah. I've got my new super light behind me. So yeah, that thing, not massive, but you guys saw the poster I put up. I ordered a softbox. That's that thing, sort of like looks like a umbrella. Ordered a softbox, but I got the big one. It's like 4 foot across. Barely fit. I mean, the ceiling in here is not very high. It's like a 2300 ceiling or something. And the thing barely fit in my room. So, yeah, what I was after was just a small one like that. A little bit bigger would have been nice, but they sort of seem to be either 2 foot or 4 foot. About 750. Yeah, probably about 750 would be ideal, but no one really makes one about that size. Alrighty, so we haven't got any physically leaking caps, which is a rarity on these things. Normally they're all leaking their splooge out after a year or two. I'll put that back on for now, just so I don't lose the screws. Because we can check the ripple on the nodes inside while it's operating. But he said he wanted to, you know, upgrade them anyway, and they will fail in not too long. Because they are really low quality. Hey, burn back time. It's got the name that always reminds me of Cher, even though it's a welding term. Yeah. Sorry about that, champions. I was testing the Sony boy to see how long it could record 4K for before it either overheated or ran out of battery. And I forgot to change it back to HD afterwards. Of course it overheated. Because it does not like streaming at 4K without a cooling fan. But what would a Brad's Guitar Garage live stream be without a fuck up of some sort? Right. Oop, some cardboard just fell out. So the one filter cap on the main board looks good too. I don't think there's anything wrong with this other than perhaps lead dress on the oscillator valve. So I'll just get my blocks, plug in and have a quick listen. So essentially what we'll be doing is just upgrades on this one. There you go, Darren. Hi everyone, by the way. Sorry, I'm a bit out of sorts today because it's not my usual Saturday schedule thing. I didn't get much sleep either. Went to bed at midnight and was up at 4 o'clock to see Lyle. Plus the eastern coal. There's a bird that comes to town every spring. It's actually interesting. It's a parasitic brooder, so it bullies other birds, distracts them, and then lays its eggs in their nest, and then it like runs like a protection racket for its eggs and makes the host bird raise its young. But often it'll be this tiny little bird that's trying to raise this monster of a friggin' cuckoo thing. But anyway, it's got this really annoying call that everyone complains about because it sometimes does it in the middle of the night, or it does it 5 o'clock in the morning. Let's see if I've got I could probably show you just on the phone. Where's the video gone? Did I delete it? Maybe I won't show you. Never mind. So yeah, it sounds like this. There he is. Do I enable desktop sounds? No. There you go. I wonder if I get a copyright strike for a bird sound. Come on. Hey, where did you pull that one from? Oh, come on. It's called a call video clip, so they should probably show the sound, yeah? Stupid video. Thumbs down. Unsubscribe. It's called it Eastern Coal Calling, and it's literally the one thing that hasn't happened. Why isn't anything working today? I can't press any buttons. I can't click my own live stream. I can't watch my own live stream. There it is. So imagine that loud noise going off at 4:30 in the morning. Right. Is that enough? What a stupid video that was. I was wondering if you're still sipping whiskey or slamming coffee. Yeah, I got a coffee. Always, mate. I did have a whiskey last night. I had a, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Abler the Enabler. Whatever their cask strength thing is, Anoa or something. I don't know how to pronounce Gaelic shit. Scottish bloody weird vowel words. So yeah, those things come down from Papua New Guinea and far north Queensland and well, China and whatever, Indonesia. China? I think just Indonesia. I don't think they're as far up as China. And around this time, so it's been around for about 2 or 3 days now. They come down, they lay their eggs. The male and female distract the host bird and like cause a big ruckus. So they're real noisy and aggressive. And then while that bird's like defending its nest, the female sneaks in there and lays the eggs in its nest. And then they bully it to basically feed and bring up their offspring. And if they don't do it, the coal will kill them. So massive arseholes, huge arseholes in the bird world. But when you hear that call, it means summer's on its way and the warmer weather's coming. They used to be called the storm bird before I knew what they were. Because often all the other birds have like hunkered down when a massive storm is on the way, but because they're from Indonesia and like monsoonal region, it doesn't bother them. So there'll be the one bird that's still out there just calling and chilling out when there's a huge storm front on the way. All right, so what's the common issues with reissues from Fender? One of them being this stupid cardboard thing they put over the jacks. I guess that's for compliance. So if kids poke a fucking chopstick in there, they won't get shocked. Normally they're sort of half under the washer, but this one was just literally sitting there. But yeah, I'll just piss them off because often they don't do the... there goes my screwdriver. Smashed my laptop. Often they don't do the speaker jacks up. Yeah, that's very loose. Just limp-wristed assembly, primarily, in that area. The next issue being, obviously, the caps. We know about that. They've started putting flyback diodes on the output valves, which is kind of cool. And I believe that is from the factory. The other thing being the plate load resistors. Very shitty resistors, and even though they're not exceeding their half-watt rating, they go open circuit and high resistance, very high resistance all the time. The other thing you get often is they'll just have a solder joint they've just completely forgotten to solder. So I just sort of check everything with a fine-tooth comb, because very often you'll find just like one of the valve sockets just has one of the wires folded through, but not like they've forgotten to solder it while they were chatting away at the assembly bench. Cracked solder joints on the jacks because they've mounted on their own little PCB down there. So just checking the solder joints on anything that's got physical connections, anything that'll flex, that kind of thing. What else is there? You got the MOV over here, or the inrush current limiter. Little black disc down there. They're fairly like heavy large items, so they often crack their solder joints or fracture their leads. So just check that. You got your massive EMI suppression donut down there, which neither here nor there. But generally the reissues are pretty good amps, and once you sort out those few things, they're pretty reliable, mainly the caps. The same goes with Marshall. The flagship amps I probably wouldn't bother buying. Their budget amps are pretty shit, but they're sort of middle of the range. Reissue amps are probably where the best value for money's at. I think it's really sad that you've still got to do a full recap to a Fender amp after 2 or 3 years. That's really shitty wiring. I'm almost wondering if someone's been in there, but I have seen just as bad from the factory. You can see down there that heater line crossing over that anode connection. Oh, that's the other thing. The heater fuses love to burn their contacts, so I just bypass them, hardwire it directly to the valve socket. So we'll do that on this as well. You don't need a fuse on the heater because it can sustain enough current to blow the mains fuse if you get a short there. But yeah, you see that's passing right over the that's actually the ground connection on that side, because that's the anode there, the plate connection. That's the flyback diode, an R5000F Rectron. Yeah, Rectron. But yeah, you can see all the melty McMelt face there. I don't know who soldered that, but yeah, we'll redo that. Just having a quick look. I don't see any dry solder joints, but there is some questionable soldering and some melted insulation, that kind of thing. Alright, I think we're good to power it up. There's nothing nothing dramatic in there. I'll just pop my meters on. Easy enough to pop the meters on the output transformer primary, just to check that everything's stable, because they've got the diode there, so you can easily clip it on. Another good thing about having the flyback diodes. Not only do they offer protection, but they also offer a really convenient little probe point, test point. Alright, where can I stick my probe? CP16 is the center tap. Yep, I'll clip her on there. It's 72 and 81 ohms. So don't stress too much about the resistance imbalance, because they're not really high quality transformers. They don't have interleaved windings, or bifilar, I think they call it. So the wire's not the same length. They'll wind it on from the center, work its way out. After half the amount of turns, you get your center tap wire comes out, and then it continues to wind the outer. So you'll have, that'll be the outer windings, because you've got a higher resistance. That'll be the inner windings, and they would have longer wire, because it's same amount of turns, but it's larger diameter on the coil as you work your way out. But impedance is the important part. There'd be the same amount of turns. So but yeah, higher quality transformers, they do it a different way. They start with the center tap, and then you sort of wind it on like a Y. So the turns are interleaved. And technically, or you know, in theory, pretty more or less the same length. You get that on the hi-fi stuff and the real high-end guitar amps, but on Fender stuff, fuck, if it makes a noise out the door she goes, whether or not that noise is good or not. All right, so generally I advise people, this is not really how you put your cables away. Just get yourself a roll of Velcro, right? This is like hook on one side, loop on the other. That's like half used now. It was like a 50-meter roll. It was like $12. Just get yourself one of them. Snip off little bits as you need it. I just always have one above the bench, because every amp that comes in, I put one on just to keep myself sane at the bench, you know. This wire is pretty shitty though. It's really stiff, and it gets worse as it ages. See the vintage ones that come in and you can't even bend the stuff. I never wished death upon any man, but I have looked forward to certain obituaries in anticipation. How you going, Gooden, by the way? What's happening? Macintosh tube amps used bifilar output transformers. Yeah, they didn't spare any expense on those buggers. IPAs, baby. I got some double IPAs on Friday night. 8%, 8.6% or something. You have two of them, and they're half-litre cans. You have two of them and you're fucked. Good night. Because the IPA has, like, the hop oil is like a sedative as well. That's why we used to go out back in the day drinking lagers all night. Before all the hipster beers came out, you could sink 20 beers in a night and still be relatively coherent. But you go to all the hipster bars these days, you have two IPAs and you feel like going to bed. Well, maybe that's just me. All right, pedal, speaker, meters, power, lift off, recording interface, right, got desktop audio enabled still. Mic gain down, guitar. I was playing I got something else to show you too. I was playing guitar last night. Finally forced myself to sit down and just not answer emails and just play for a bit and try and figure out some stuff, because don't have time to play. It's shit. What am I even doing with my life where I don't have time to play guitar? The only thing I used to live for. Someone's getting older. No, Mark. Well, I am, but it's as soon as I got onto the IPAs, all the craft beers, that's what it was like. Completely changed the dynamic of a night out. Should just have a night on the lagers again. Go out drinking VBs all night. Then I'll know whether or not I'm too old. All right, just turn off my mic. Let's see what this thing sounds like. Got a bit of noise there, but we've also got the lighting, so that tends to induce a bit of noise. Yeah, a fair bit of hiss in this design. I believe it's because of the way that I think this is one where they've linked the channels. Actually, I'll just grab a reverb tank. I think I better grab the reverb tank. Just bear with me. Sorry, I need to get more organized. I do love a Vibrolux, but I don't know how genuine these reissues are to the original, the real deal. Got two Jensen P10Rs. Pardon me. The world's shittiest reverb cables. Go Fender. I had a Princeton reissue in recently. Pretty recent model. And it is insulting how many corners they're cutting on them now. It had the world's shittiest Celestion speaker. I looked up the speaker. This is like a $3,000 amp, mind you. I looked up the... And remember, when I talk dollars, I'm talking Australian dollars. Hear this accent? So many fucking Americans argue with me about prices. And then I'm like, what are you talking about? There is none for 500. What the fuck are you talking about? And then it turns out that they don't realize there's different currencies in the world. Do you guys know there's different currencies in the world? Because the amount of arguments I get online from Americans that seem oblivious to the fact that there are different dollars in different countries. Oh, man. Yeah, let's make both the RCA jacks black, and then on the plug we'll have white and red. Let's do that. Good on you, Fender. Anyway, the Celestion speaker they had, it was some budget thing, and I looked it up, and the speaker's like $50 worth, and it's a fucking $3,000 amp. And it sounded like ass. Alright, that's our drive coil. So that comes from the transformer. So we should have a low resistance there as well. There it is. That's the drive side. And the recovery side should be around 200 ohms DC. And it is. And that goes in that side. You can test that from the rear of the amp without taking anything apart. She said no, whiskey it is. Did you propose your missus? Propose, you know what I mean. Whiskey. This is the custom Vibrolux reverb amp. It sure is custom in inverted commas, and that is literally what's printed on the front, inverted commas. Reverb. Right. Okay. What am I doing? Click. It sounded like a bit of an arc on that switch, but maybe it's just the rubber boot over it made it sound a bit weird. So that's a lot of noise. That is a lot of hiss, a lot of noise, with all the volumes and the reverb return all the way down. Yeah, interesting. I'm just noticing there's no increase in noise when I turn the reverb up, which there should be. So I think the reverb's turned off. Yep. Oh, we got more noise. Isn't that good? This is a really noisy amp. All right. Okay, so I remember now. This one is the one where they've linked the reverb and trem to both channels, but the way they've done it is fucking stupid and results in the noise. So it's relatively simple to do it properly. You'd think Fender, being the company that fucking designed the amp, would be able to figure that out, but apparently it's up to us techs to be able to wipe their asshole. So I'll include that in this quote as well, changing basically the power schemes and which node is grounded where, and you get rid of that hiss and hum. There should be balancing resistors. Yep, balancing resistors for the heater. Sometimes they go open circuit as well because they're that same shitty half watt carbon films. So that's another thing. What I might do is I'll do a video on this, and just as a generic, this is all the problems with pretty much all the reissue amps, with the added cherry on top of this is how you fix the noise in this one. For you bloody techs out there, although it seems like no matter how much free information I give you, you still want more with all the emails you send me, wanting one-on-one coaching. Anyway, let's have a quick play. I'll try to remember the stuff I learned last night. Alright, so you can probably hear that. There's a real low thump in the trem. And it's modulating the excessive hiss. And as you bring the intensity down, the thump goes away, but the fluctuating hiss is obviously still there. So that might be a matter of changing the filtering. what I think we should do is there's some low frequency content there too. So yeah, there's a bit of Sun King in there. There's a bit of when the war is over by Cold Chisel. Do you guys know Cold Chisel? You Americans? But what I think we do is that was set to about 3 or 4 there. So yeah, it's very broken up. But that's what a Vibrolux does. I'm not a fan with how this one's set up. Like, I'd like to modify this and voice it. I like to reduce the bypassing a bit on the first stage at least. I think that cleans it right up. Like Lyle was talking about today, he went into great detail about the bypassing and how that affects the frequency response and affects the feel of the overdrive, because if you're amplifying frequencies that aren't going to be reproduced, what that does is it's basically promotes blocking distortion further down the stream. So removing that low frequency content and reducing perhaps coupling cap sizes, that kind of thing, in amplifiers with a cathode phaser inverter to installing a screen grid resistor. Sorry, it's early. Can help you just clean everything up. I'll just show you a quick site about bypassing. Okay, thank you, Google. You are fucking useless. See if I can find my chart. Just one sec. Try again stage. Here we go. So here's an excellent page. I've showed you guys a million times. Go here. Here we go. Go here and download that PDF and have a good read of it. Print out a copy and stick it to your shithouse door. Like back when you're a kid and you're trying to memorize, you know, your times tables. So let's download that PDF. It's a sample chapter from the book, but just buy his book, because he deserves the revenue, because he put a lot of work into it. Alrighty, let's do a bit of study time, champions. You got your thinking caps on. You got your thinking caps installed. So this is chapter 1 in the fantastic book, Designing Valve Preamps for Guitar and Bass. Basic theory, blah, 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 blah. Runs through it all, but what we're after, it's base charge, all your different parameters. Let's just zoom out a bit. 2-page. Alright, so what I'm after for this conversation is down here. So cathode bypassing. You see here, you got the resistor and cap. You know, you've seen them a million times. You've got your biasing resistor there on the cathode. That ensures that the grid will be negative in relation to the cathode, because the cathode will have an elevated voltage and the grid will be at 0 volts. So it's just like biasing your output stage, but much smaller scale here in the preamp. And you've got a capacitor there. Now, changing the value of that capacitor, you can see the effect on the frequency response here with this graph. So off the chart, 22 microfarad is Fender, right? So you're not getting a 3 dB drop until you're at fucking 10 hertz. 10 hertz, so good. Come on, baby. So, you know, 4.7 microfarad brings you the 3 dB point up to like 50 hertz, which is a bit more logical. So 4.7 is a good place to start. Anything below that's just subharmonics that end up flabbing out the successive stages. And if they do make it through to your speaker, they end up flabbing out your speaker too, and you can over excursion the driver if you've got a high powered amp. But if you want to tone shape it a bit further, tighten things up, you can drop down to 1 microfarad or below. You can see what are we at in a vintage Marshall 68, so somewhere around here, 680 nanofarad, sorry. So yeah, they do tighten up the bass quite a bit, but you can go further. Depends what you're trying to do with that stage. If that's a very early stage, and you're going to distort the living fuck out of it, when you distort a signal, you end up with subharmonics that get generated as like the sum and the difference of each frequency that's present when you distort it. So you end up with frequencies that weren't there to start with. That's why like Soldanos and Bogners and 5150s are so chunky in the bottom end, because they distort the signal so much that they reintroduce frequencies that weren't even there in the first place. So what you want to do is pull all that bass out. I'm talking high gain amps. You want to pull all that bass out before the distortion takes place, because it's going to be way too much later on. That's the very, very dumbed down version of it. But essentially, changing the value of that cap ends up changing the frequency response there to each line. You can see the different value cap. So there you go. Download that, because that's really generous. That's a 35-page article, which basically tells you a lot of what you need to really know to understand how preamps work, and like 90% of the troubleshooting in a valve amp is sort of outlined in this chapter. So because a lot of this applies to just a valve stage, and just the power and voltage levels are different for an output stage. Shows you the different styles of distortion, what happens when you cold bias the ECC83 at 12AX7. You end up chopping off the top of the signal there coming out of the anode. And if you hot bias one, you end up chopping off the bottom, because you're cutting off the other side of the waveform. Yeah, it's a really good article. Get yourself a copy of that. And if you can afford it, go grab his book too. They're not that expensive. You can get second-handers. He's got a few different editions. The first edition, I think, had a few errors. And the second edition is, I think, the one I've got. But he's just released a third edition. I saw someone literally yesterday mention. So I think he's got the latest one. That must be why that Champ kit is so woofy. Yeah, that's right, Wes. Champs, being such a tiny speaker and a tiny amp, a tiny cabinet, you really want to pull back that bypassing. Some of the early versions didn't even have a bypass cap on that first stage. Yeah, I'm not sure if that was documented or not, but yeah, I've seen ones without it. I've had the Valve Wizard book in my shitter for like 3 years. Yeah, it's good for that, eh? Putting a lot of low frequencies through a smallish output transformer causes the transformer to saturate. Yeah, sometimes that can be a desired effect, good, but other times not. 25. Generally 4.7 is my go-to for pretty much everything, Wes. It allows pretty well full response. But yeah, none of the flub underneath. G'day Liz, how you going? What's happening? Someone from Big Clive's channel. Been a bit off Big Clive's channel recently because I just Twitch is a pain in the ass. I should get back on it. So basically with this, it's just upgrades and reversing the silliness around the silliness causing that hiss, upgrading the filter caps. And I think once we've done that, I want to see if that tremolo problem's improved, because I think it'll be vastly improved just from doing those things. It's like a byproduct of the systemic issues with this circuit. Because there's no point trying to fix something if it's going to be improved or eliminated by the other stuff you're going to fix anyway. So there you go. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let me just organize some stuff. Bit of housework, as what do you say? Housekeeping, as they say. Got severe storms predicted today. The first time of the season. Bit of a weird one with the weather patterns at the moment. There's been a heating of the upper atmosphere. But we're also going into another La Nina. So how those two factors interact, one might sort of semi-cancel the other out. So it's going to be a bit of a weird season, I think. There's my coffee. Sort of looking out the corner of my eye for my coffee, wondering where I put it. The original schematic doesn't have the bypass cap on the first stage. Okay, so the original schematic didn't have it, and then they put it on. I couldn't remember if it was actually wasn't on the actual amp, but it was on the schematic, or vice versa. And I believe they have copies of the schematic that have it, some that don't have it, but it's the exact same model, 5F1 or whatever it is. Anyone uses series resistor with the bypass cap as well as a bias resistor? Yeah, that is one way to change the frequency response, or basically change the amount that you change in the frequency response. I've seen that on some higher gain amps to offer just a higher amount of control there. You'd end up with sort of like a shelf. Not like a full shelf EQ, but you know, it wouldn't be just that gradual curve and have a sort of step in it. All right, reverb tank works. Believe the speakers were fine. You're in Seattle, Chris. Cool. I'd like to visit Seattle one day. After Nuremberg too. Yeah, Seattle looks like a very beautiful city. I'd really like to go there one day. Ugh. Yeah, kickback legs. I'm making the cabinet sit a bit unstable. All right, so we can quote that one up along with the 500 other quotes I've got to get done. Yay. Once I smoked a dynamite cigar, drove a foreign car. So yeah, how many Americans know about Cold Chisel and the Ian Moss? Left it all behind. All right, we've got a Gibbo SG here, champions, and this is my one. To everyone that says I'm a Gibson hater, well, I fucking own one, so shut up. I got this from our man Six. Brought it around for a repair quote. I said, can I just have it? Because he was going to get it fixed up and sell it. I said, what do you want for it? Because it's got some damage down here. Someone's trumped on the output jack. Come on, Penny boy. You're just about to focus in, weren't you? And then I zoomed in further. So yeah, that's a pretty... I've sort of clamped that flat. That looked way more dramatic. So I'm not sure what to do there. I'm still of two minds. I don't really want to cut it out and insert a, inlay a circle. but I kind of want to see if I can swell it a bit, push it out. Maybe, I've seen this done before. You get the razor blade and cut in the grain in line and sort of release the individual fibers of the timber and then manipulate them around where you want them to be, and then fill them with resin and then flush that up, and it will be a bit discolored, but you'll still have the grain in line with the original grain, and it'll be flat and flush. So I might try that. I haven't done that personally before. I've seen people do that to fix fingernail damage in fretboards on vintage guitars. But I'd like to do a practice run at that first, maybe. So I've got some mahogany at home, which has got similar grain to that. I might try it on a sample piece, see how it goes, and then do that instead of having like a visible circle line. The other thing I was thinking is you could put around, like, you know, like a jack plate on there. Just conceal it a bit and touch up the extremities. But yeah, so I've got to do that. I'm going to chuck the bridge. I don't know if you guys follow me on Facebook and Instagram or not, but that's usually where I put up nice photos. And I had a beautiful Angus Young signature SG, which I finished yesterday for a local metalhead. It's not going to get played, that one, or occasionally, but it's mainly going to get put on display. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I ultrasonically cleaned the bridge, and it came up like a brand new bought bastard. So I'm going to do that to this as well. There's already lost some plating. We've lost some plating on the saddles there, the brass saddles. But it'll clean it up quite a bit. And there is no significant buckling on these. Like, what often happens is, because of the massive down pressure on the bridge there from the tailpiece, people often bottom the tailpiece out on the body, thinking it gives them more sustain. Dude, with that string tension on there, the bushing and that bolt, these ones here, they may as well be one piece of metal. They're stuck so hard to each other from that string tension. So there's no real advantage to be had to bottoming it out against the body. And what you end up with then is a massive down pressure on the bridge. And eventually the bridge bows downwards. You can see there's a slight bow happening there, but probably less than a millimeter. Sometimes you get them and they're like so bowed that all the strings are sitting flat and then they don't match the fretboard radius. But in this case, it's not too bad. But we could probably lift that saddle up, the tailpiece up a little bit. But if you go too far, then the leverage wants to pull the bushings forward, so you end up with bruised timber in this area. So it's sort of like you've got to find a sweet spot. I generally don't like to have them more than about 1/4 of an inch above the body, but just a little bit so they clear the back edge of the bridge too and doesn't buzz on there. Because if it's right on the edge and it's just touching the back of that bridge housing, you could get buzzing there as well. What are you putting in the ultrasonic cleaner solution for metals? Just using detergent, something else? I'm using Electrolube SWAS. It's called Super Wash something. It's got anti-corrosion additives, but it is a slightly alkaline detergent. I'm using that in 100% concentration because that's what I was using on my boards, and that's what it said to use in the instructions for that cleaner. That compound, sorry. But seeing how effective it is, you could probably use it as low as like 25% concentration. It would probably be just as effective because it is seriously powerful stuff. Putting all the hardware in there and then pulling it out, washing it with just tap water, and then if it's a sensitive thing like PCB or whatever, I'll wash them in distilled water as well, or not deionized, demineralized water, and give them a few cycles of rinsing in that, and then bake them. With guitar hardware, you just blast it with compressed air after tap water, and that's fine. So the only other thing I was looking at, well, the other thing we've got to repair is I'm going to replace the nut. You can see it's missing a chunk there. The string's still housed, and it's not buzzing or anything. It's actually surprisingly still performing otherwise fine. But I'll remove that, scribe the lacquer there, because I see a lot of these where it's chipped off. Unfortunately, you've got that red line there where they've stained over the nut, very bottom sort of millimeter or so. But we'll just carefully scribe that with a hobby knife, you know, an X-Acto, and then carefully probably give that nut a few knocks at the front edge just to loosen the glue, and then I'll get the fret and nippers and just lever it back and forwards, and just gently, if it's not moving, I'll give it a few more taps, just enough to break that glue bond. The frets are pretty good, actually. There's a bit of wear around the fifth there, you know, the boomer bend area. But in the first position there's very little notching, considering it's a 2008 model. There's not a lot happening there at all, so I was just going to piss off the Gibson fanboys and straight away take the nibs off and do a stainless refret all the way to the edge. But I reckon those frets might be alright for a while. Considering I've got fuck all time to play, I think it'll be fine. So, what year is it? 2008 was. All the inlays are good, nothing's coming out. Sometimes the inlays start working their way upwards, you've got to glue them back down again. The pickups sound good. The electronics are fine. Just got to reinstall everything once I've fixed that jack. I've got all the hardware. The strings are obviously rusty. But I'm not a big fan of the, what do they call it, the Batman bloody pick guard. I love the half pick guard. So I was thinking, I don't know what happens under this. Let's have a look, shall we? I don't know if you've just got the cutouts for the pickups, and if I could go to just pickup surrounds and just deal with the screw holes. Or if just say fuck it and leave it as it is and just play the thing and shut up like most people should do. But it occurred to me, I don't know what's under these pick guards, if there's big ugly routs or if it's two nicely cut routs that you can just go back to the pickup surrounds, which are angled too. That's the other thing. That's the other reason I don't like these pick guards, because the angles of the pickups aren't aligned with the strings. See the massive difference there? So having the pickup surrounds, because they're actually tapered, they look at that cinematography, champions, absolute cinema. You can get the tapered one so the pickup then aligns with the strings. I don't mind it being a bit of a rat. It's not exactly $1 million guitar, but SG is sort of the only Gibson that sort of feels like home to me. I don't like Les Pauls. I don't like 335s or, you know, any of the hollow bodies. The SG feels, don't know, probably feels slightly more Strat-like. I use that very trepidatiously. But yeah, I was going to turn it into a Mad Doom machine. Put like 62s on it and tune it down to like B or something. But I don't know, maybe it should be my Led Zeppelin AC/DC, you know, just 70s humbucker standard tuning thing. I really wanted a walnut one with no pick guard. That's the look I was sort of into. Probably because I'm a fan of Corrosion of Conformity and Pepper Keenan. Let's take the strings off, eh? Oh, once the strings are off, champions, I'm committed. I'm committed. I have an SG special that is really cool. I put a Music City bridge on it with locking posts, and it'll really help the intonation out. Yeah, the biggest thing with them and the juniors is the shitty bridge. The one-piece bridge tailpiece with the cast saddles. Yeah, compromise at best, and they don't sit level with the body because there's too much play in the machining. The best thing there is the Shayla Signum bridges. I installed one on, several guitars, but Rose Carlio, who's on The Voice. Her Les Paul Jr. Her? No, Mick. Her husband's Les Paul Jr. I installed one on. So basically, the biggest problem with the stock ones is the fact that when they sit in the post, there's too much play, so the bridge tilts forwards under the string tension. With the Signum, bear with me. With the Signum, what you do is you install these posts, they go into the existing screw holes, and then you can tighten up the nut on the bottom. Got a reverse thread, and then you can lock that in. So now it's perfectly perpendicular to the bolt, and the bolt should be perfectly perpendicular to the body. So you just eliminated that problem, and then you can adjust the intonation accurately because there's some long travel saddles there. So you can do things like use crazy string gauges, because now you can adjust your you can compensate there, and you can also there's further compensation by adjusting those grub screws there to pull it back from the post a little bit. Yeah, there are other options like Wes is saying. There's other companies that do similar products. I found the Signum to be the best quality, best finish. Plus you get a cool offset spanner. Even laser etched it. Fucking hell, no wonder it's expensive. But I've got an account with Shayla because I do the S locks and all of that stuff. So get a trade rate on that. That one's already spoken for a 62 Les Paul Jr., which has sadly been heavily modified, but the owner still loves it. All right, let's see what's under this pick guard, eh? See you, good. Take it easy, legend. Yeah, 6 hours of live streams on a Sunday is a bit much. Lyle and then here. Okay, so yeah, we've got the big ugly routes. So we can't just go with the half pick guard. Well, that clinches it. Well, we're in here. The stock pickups. Gibson UFA. SGS. HC. The funny thing is, on that Angus Young signature, what do they go for? They're like $8,000 or something. The machining on this one's actually cleaner than the machining on that one. It's like the router blade had a big chunk taken out of it. They just kept using the fucking thing. Yeah, go join your wife, Gooden, or someone else will. The screws are pretty rusty, but that's rock and roll, isn't it, champions? Yeah, looking forward to getting this one cranking, and that through the Cranky Karen will be a formidable pair. Speaking of the Cranky Karen, I've finally finished a cabinet for it. I've got to find my leather badges. I've got a bag of them that I've pre-made. I can't find the fucking things. I remember putting them somewhere safe. Now I can't find them. Thought they were at home in the garage. Had a look around there, and then I thought, oh, hang on, no, they're here. No, not here either. I don't know how stuff just disappears, eh? They aren't rusty. You're not spilling enough beer. It's supposed to go in your throat, Wes. Oh, let's just ultrasonic this now, champions. So, memory point. Right now, this is what it looks like. So I won't do any physical cleaning to that at all. We'll just drop it in the ultrasonic, put it in there for 10 minutes, and see what she comes out like. Hey, hey. Do that now. I'll chuck the tailpiece in there too, because it gets right in the hole. Cleans it out. Just like a something. Flop. And the worst sound in the world. It amazes me how bad that sounds. It's impressive how painful that sound is. It is the worst sound in the world. What does that say? Stuff. As they say across the Dutch. Outsmart myself all the time. That's one way of putting it, Wes. I've outsmarted myself. In other words, I'm a fucking idiot. Feels weird streaming on a Sunday. Normally I'd still be in bed. Maybe I should be. Ah, get off. I've got to work 7 days a week at the moment, champions. I can't catch up. And it's extremely frustrating when you've just done like a 13-hour day and then someone is upset their instrument isn't ready and sort of implies that you should be working harder. Longer. Look at that. We've got a foreign coin there is driven through the end pin. What country is that from? Looks Japanese. Actually, I think these did come from Japan. If Six was here, he could tell us, but he's probably asleep like a sane person. Looks like a doom stick. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Jan. Fuck. Maybe I should turn it into a doom stick. I love that term, by the way. Is that a 5 yen? How many yen? Might have to do a Google image search on that. It's Japanese. Anyone know how many yen that is? See how these pickups clean up too. They've got some what looks like filiform corrosion. It'd be surprising what comes off the surface once you just give them a quick buff. $5. It is, right. Thank you. Thank you, Christopher. Thought it looked familiar. Because, yeah, they've already got the hole in the middle, so perfect. Here's me thinking it was a 10-cent piece, because our 10-cent pieces looked a bit like that. 10 cent? 5 cent? No. 2 cent. 2 cent pieces. They're out of production now, but the 1 cent and 2 cent look like that, but without a hole. Have you tried etching or engraving any pickup covers yourself? Nah, haven't got time for that shit. See, that's come up pretty good. Still got a bit of charm to it, but you know, it is what it is. So the end pin's taken a bit of a hit. It's pushed it into the body. See that? So what I might do is drill that out, plug it, and then flush it up and re-drill it. Because they put a massive screw in there. I don't think that's the stock screw. just to get it flush with the surface again. Probably just go fuck it and put some S-locks on there anyway. Going to Japan in a week, mate. I'll grab it off you and buy you something. I don't think you can buy much for 5 yen. Dude, this has not had a rough life, Wes. You should see the fucking guitars that come in here. This one's comparatively a gem. Look at the finish. Look at the neck. It's never been broken. It looks like a pretty nice bit of timber. Still got the original tuning machines. Nice patina to them. But yeah, I'm really getting excited about having this one in my collection. I think I'll look pretty fucking badass with this. I've got to get back on a stage, champions, because who wouldn't want to see this getting thrashed by me? Dressed like a geography teacher. I might, if I got tomorrow off, I might work on that tomorrow, because what do I do on my time off? When I got my time off from working on guitars, I work on guitars. Yay. But yeah, I am keen as mustard to get that thing cranking. Never owned a Gibson before, so it's a new experience for me, and I'm liking it. Just don't break the headstock, Brad. Yeah, it's a Gibson. Bloody oath. Don't fuck around with no Epiphones around here, mate. It's fucking balsa wood necks. Some of them are good. Some of the newer ones are really good timber, actually. Electric Wizard, fuck yeah. Love Electric Wizard. Nice chips out of the headstock. Ah, it's not too bad, man. Where's it's got character, mate. It's like you. Just like you. It's got a few, but you know, when you're in the heat of battle and you smash the cymbal a few times for a dramatic effect, that's what you get. But yeah, it's not too bad. It looks worse than it is. I could touch them up with a bit of red lacquer and you barely notice them, but who cares? The more scars the better at the moment with this one. I reckon it's just the right patina. I don't like them when people overdo it. The only thing is, see the finish? You can see where there used to be stickers because the adhesive affects the nitro, because nitro's like fucking shellac. It's super sensitive to everything. It's like, may as well not even be on there. But it does age in a kind of cool way. How's our ultrasonic going? Can't have long now. 2 minutes. It's probably already done its thing, but we'll let it go the full run. Why not? I'll go to one of your shows, Brad. Well, you don't know what I play like yet. I need to sit down and play more. What am I doing? DSL 401. Do we want to finish that one off? I think I literally took that apart last live stream, and I haven't got back to it since because I've been working on guitars all week. Done a bunch of refrets for you. You've seen the social media stuff. I had to catch up on guitars because everyone was nagging. So got them out of the road. I've still got some I've got to knock over before I go fully back into the amps because there's just so many friggin' guitars here right now. EPSGs have a tap tone like plastic. It's probably because the finish is like 1 kilometre thick. I come if you got a gig at Mountain Culture. The only thing I do at Mountain Culture is drink at the moment. We went by there on yesterday? No, day before yesterday. Friday. What's today? Sunday. So Friday. Dropped in there Friday for a quick beer on the way home. Be rad at the Mountain Cult. So I was talking to the guys there at Mountain Culture. That's the local brewery. And we were asking why they don't do any sours and don't do any ciders. And they were like, oh, it's not cost effective. You can't make as much profit and all this. And I thought, wouldn't you just want to have one though? Like, So in retail, in business, you often have these things that they call loss leaders, right? So that's things that you don't really make any money on, or you might even make a loss on. Oh, that's a fucking relief. But when it goes away, it feels weird too. They're things that you might sell, or services that you might offer in order to get people to come around and then buy other things that you do make a profit on. So for example, say you got a bar and you sell fucking, I don't know, onion rings, but you sell them for like $1 each, or like $1 for a bowl of them. And you got a big ad out the front, you know, $1 onion rings. And everyone goes, oh, fuck yeah, the onion rings are awesome. And they go in and then they have 3 beers and you make 50% profit on the beers. That's like a loss leader. The onion rings is to get people in, even though you don't make any money on them. It gets people in and then they spend on other shit. With breweries, I sometimes feel like they should have, particularly in summer, even if it is not that cost effective to have a sour. Every time I go there with Michelle, and I know plenty of other women that don't drink beers, but they drink sours. And if they had a sour on tap, your missus would go, and then you'd have like 3 beers and then have 1 sour. And, just more people would go there, and more people would be happy to go there because they'd have more beverages for a wider audience. So yeah, but yeah, they've got no real interest in it. So we'll just go up to Brew Mountains, where he's always got a sour on. From what I understand, I don't like sours, by the way, but Michelle loves them. From what I understand, the owner, he was trained working for Sierra Nevada, and I think he just likes beer and that's it. But instead of brewing, it is, yes, maybe just to get some. Yeah, so they've got Hillbilly Cider, I think one other brand. Bilpin Cider is really good. I'm not a big cider fan, but they've got a reduced sugar one, and they're ginger beer. Because sometimes I'll enjoy a Dark and Stormy, which is ginger beer and rum. But ginger beer's got so much sugar in it, dude. You get the Bundaberg stuff, and it's like 20% sugar. It's ridiculous how much sugar they pack into that shit. And Bilpin's got a low sugar one, which is not artificially sweetened, but it's just low sugar. Sometimes I want to go not sugar free, but low sugar. I don't want it to be as sweet. I don't want the sugar to be removed and then artificial sweetener added to have the same perceived sweetness. I just want it to be less sweet. And they do a ginger beer that's like that, and it mixes really nice. Because I find that if a ginger beer is too sugary, it detracts too much from the rum, and you don't taste the rum at all. My wife likes sours. Around here, they are pretty pricey. Yeah, so apparently the brewing process is different and it takes longer. Whereas they do a beer with their setup, they can like cook the batch or whatever the fuck you call it. Like not the actual fermentation, but the preparation before that, the steeping or whatever you call it. They can do that in like 20 minutes with their setup, and then it goes into the other tanks for fermentation. Yeah, I remember when they installed the new system, there was a bunch of German dudes that came over. It was some German system, and the guys stayed here for like 3 months while they set up and calibrated the whole system. And it's like a big automated thing. It's a massive place over there. They don't even do brewery tours. They're really just a factory. They don't seem to want to. Yeah, it's a good place. You go there, you drink, it's a welcoming environment. But I guess they're just not really interested in self-promotion because they're already massive. Don't know. Most breweries will have a tour. You go there and whatever. But I haven't seen them advertise that. I don't think anyone's done one. So don't know. I won't ask them about that. They seem a little bit secretive, One of the funniest sours she had was one called Sour Me Unicorn Farts. It has freaking glitter in it. It's actually really good. Glitter. Ginger beer needs to be super cold and poured over ice. Yeah, I want one now too, Bazza, and I still haven't even finished my coffee just talking about it. Oh, he's put up a link. Dew Claw. It's like AVEs, mate. Dew Claw. Just give these bridges and tailpiece a rinse under the tap. Don't worry, I'm not coming in here to poop. I did that before started the stream, as you saw in Lyle's chat. He's about to end his stream prematurely. I'm like, no, I'm still snapping one off. I had everything scheduled out, and I'm like, yeah, as soon as he finishes, I'll start. And then he wanted to finish early, and he fucked up all my plans, all my pooping plans. Not even here. He's out living life, doing his photography walks. Have you guys checked out his Flickr page? It's pretty good. He's getting better. Oh, turn the air compressor orb on. Would you guys get upset if I just rounded it out to 2 hours today, since it is a Sunday? Because I wouldn't mind going and having breakfast with my lovely wife who's still asleep. Alright, so straight out of the ultrasonic. Just rinsed and blasted with compressed air. That's how good it comes up, just in the ultrasonic. It gets right down inside, cleans all the thread. Everything. Everything. Pretty impressive, huh? And that's with no physical, like, mechanical effort. You can see here, looking down the line, there is a slight bow to it, like I was talking about. See, it bends down. Part of that is, well, it's the string tension. Come on, Panny boy. The other thing is, you see the screws just sit in there, so it's not a very strong cross section on these. There's no, like, torsional, what would you call it? It's not like a box section. It's sort of like a L section, I guess. So that makes it more susceptible to downward pressure. But yeah, in the past, I have put them across the bench vise and just given them a tappy with the copper-faced hammer or the rawhide hammer, and that has straightened them out. But again, it will go back to how it was. But adjusting the tailpiece, and here's a tailpiece that's cleaned up all right. I've got fingerprints on it, but yeah, it's pretty amazing what the old ultrasonic can do. It looks like a brand new tailpiece, doesn't it? So all the corrosion comes off. That's just the steam from my warm, moist hands. But yeah, it's pretty impressive, and the fact that you can just dump it in there and go start working on the rest of the instrument. Did a couple of strap bridges this week, and you know what the US strap bridges can end up like. They look fucking horrible, just dead skin, encrusted, horrible. And they just come out looking like a brand new bridge, like literally off the factory floor. So I've got a particularly large one, but let's not talk about that. Let's talk about ultrasonics. So my particularly large one is because I wanted to clean my Marshall replacement boards in it, so it can fit the full board. It can fit 2 of the boards actually, or it can fit 20 of the boards if they didn't have any components on it, but there's no point cleaning them before you've installed stuff. So these are my preferred replacement. This one's to suit an Epiphone because it's got the larger post there. But see how the screw's fully enclosed? This is a go-to. Goto are the best hardware, budget-wise. Money for nothing, and your chips for free. But see how the screw is actually housed within. There's no just drop-in slot, so that makes it more accurate. The screw doesn't. There's no play in the screw. It doesn't scooch back and forth as you tighten or loosen the saddle. The screw is like properly housed with some pre-tension on the arse end there with a tiny little Teflon washer, PTFE, and very accurate, much stronger. They're not susceptible to bowing because of the full cross section there. And yeah, Goto's my go-to. They make the best Floyd Rose copy in the fucking planet too. Better than Floyd Rose itself. There's one right here. Here's what I prepared earlier. So these are so well machined. And the coating on them is like an electroplating. It's not like a powder coat. So it fucking doesn't seem to ever come off. It's not like the paint that can flake off. But the machining of the saddles, everything's just so impeccable on them. And the best thing is one end's open. So if your spacing's a bit different, you can still use it. It's got a beautifully machined brass block there. Everything's just so well done. Yeah, Goto. The only thing that I'm not a huge fan of is how fucking long the string locking screws are. You often have to modify the cutout on like a Jackson or whatever, because some of the original bridges didn't have, like, there's no need for them to be that long. I don't know why they don't cut them off like 12 mil. But yeah, machining wise, I love the look of them. I love the laser cut logo. The trem arm receivers beautifully machined. Everything's like almost looks rotary tumbled, some of it. Like all Japanese stuff, they just really take their job seriously. But like a lot of the times, you need to have a few different hardware brands up your sleeve, because you're dealing with a whole bunch of geometries and stuff, which sometimes you can't get from one brand, so you got to go to another. I realised there's a strap in this case. Well, I'll be damned. Alright, let's get this thing back together. I've got to lube the pots and clean the valve sockets. Retension them. I'm going to touch up a few solder joints. So yeah, last week, I think we left not long after I just took this thing apart. I sent the quote, got approved, along with 2 other guitars from the same customer. I've done the guitars, they're ready for pickup, so I want to get this one ready for pickup so I can grab everything at once. Just a few solder joints that I think have been touched up by previous tech. Mad Techie, what's going on, champ? And they've left big blobs of solder there, so I might just clean them up. A few spots that have like burnt flux on them. You can tell someone's been there not long, well, you know, not from the factory. Goto is the best bang for your buck. Absolutely. Abso-bloody-lutely, mate. What a nice little fillet. Not a big ass blob. And some of those blobs down there look like they're almost touching each other. Oh, I got new tyres for the Aprilia. I don't think I told you guys yet. Who's in? Anyone aware of the bike situation? The Aprilia I'm restoring. So in the video, I mentioned a guy named Dave Ward, and turns out one of his mates, one of his old mates, best mates, follows my channel. He goes, "This bloke just mentioned your name, mate." Hey, Scotty, how you going, legend? Because yeah, I mentioned that I used him years ago, and he actually reminded me of a story I forgot about, which I'll tell you about shortly. But he sent me an email and said, "Yeah, I'm good now. All the health problems are sorted, and I'm back into it. Just work from home now." I'm like, "Oh fuck, okay. If you need any parts, let me know." I got in touch with him, went over to say g'day, and he doesn't just do specific parts. He does tires and chains and stuff too. So I thought, well, better give him the money than some bloody massive fucking franchise. So I got 2 tires, 2 new Pirellis, and new rear disc, new sets of pads. Well, I've got to get new sets of pads. I haven't got them off him yet. New chain. Taken the airbox off, degreased everything, cleaned it. Man, everything's come up like new around the airbox and everything. It looks so disgusting before. But yeah, it's amazing what a bit of degrease it can do. Just a bit like the ultrasonic, eh? So I'm going to get the back wheel back on, because at the moment it's on the race stand. And yeah, me. Oh, is that you, Mad Techie, that knows Dave? Just wait for his answer. Haven't seen anything since the first video on it. That's because I haven't done anything on the first video since the first video of it. So you're Dave's mate. Yeah, I went around there, fucking chatting away. I didn't. We're literally chatting for like over an hour, I think. Just chatting about shit, business, and whatever. Bloody legend. But he reminded me. We're talking about the video, and he goes, "Yeah, I told him about that time you ended up stuck up the mountain. I had to come up with the van and get you." And I forgot all about this, because it's like, what, fucking 15 years ago. Yeah, 15 years ago. So what happened, right, is I rode my bike up a late night rendezvous with a bit of a MILF up the mountains, and she had like school aged kids, so I was trying to like make a quick escape in the morning before the kids got up, and it was all awkward, and I had to meet them and stuff. And the fucking Aprilia wouldn't start, would it? And Dave had just done a service to it, and I said, "Man, change the battery for me if you can. Like if it's a bit shit, just see how it goes. If it needs replacing, don't stress about cost. Just chuck a new battery in there for us." You go, "Yeah, I'll check it out." So he checked it out. He reckoned the battery was good, and then literally the next morning, it wouldn't start. And here's me at like 5 in the morning, because I had to get to the city to work, trying to push start this bike, but you can't push start an Aprilia because it's got the fucking computer and the injectors. So if the battery's dead, she won't start. So I tried anyway. I was trying anything. I was desperate, and because it's a heavy bike, I was fucking covered in sweat, and it was like winter too. Like it was cold, and I had to ring Dave, and so I had to wait for him to wake up first. Like I didn't want to ring him before 9. So then, you know, this chick's kids get up and get ready for school, and they're like, "Who's this guy with a motorcycle jacket?" And I had to introduce myself, and fucking and Dave rocks up with the van, and picked it up and took it and chucked a new battery in it and dropped me off at home. I had to ring work and say I can't come in, bike's fucked. Well, I think, no, I jumped in the car then because I did have a 4-wheel drive as well. So he dropped me off at home and... Yeah, well, what do you do? But yeah, I totally forgot about that story, and then he remembered and re-informed me, even though I'm the one that did it. Anyway, live and learn. And because the battery was in not the best, well, your battery in a Aprilia Falco needs to be fucking pristine to start that big motor. Because its compression, it's like 12 and a half or something to 1 compression ratio. So a lot of load on the starter motor. And the gearing's probably not as low as it should have been on the starter motor sprocket. So if your starter motor's not, if your battery's not in pristine condition, you can fuck your sprag clutch. Because under the high load, it can sometimes not push the sprocket in hard enough. And the solenoid, I mean. And your sprag clutch can ream itself out, so I had to replace that as well. Really weird mechanisms, those things. It doesn't look like they should work, but they do. Good times. Great hits. I think we're good during all the shit talking. I think I am at a point where I can flush this board clean. I'm not going to ultrasonic it because it's got non-hermetically sealed components on it that I don't feel like removing. But yeah, if you were to ultrasonic this, you could throw the board in, do half of it, and then do the other half. But you got to bake it and you got to flush it in distilled water. It's a whole process. You can't just bing, 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 get it done. I had an RSV, went through a few batteries. Yeah, you go through them, eh? They're really hard on the batteries because that motor, the big twin, she needs a lot of juice to turn her over. Oh, that's mad, Techie. If you're ever in the area, mate, are you out of town or are you in Sydney still? I forgot to ask him about his mate that used to work at the around the corner, because I'm literally around the corner from where his old shop used to be. Well, I'm on Russell Street and he was on, I don't know, a block up the road. You should get a LIF, so that's a lithium ion polymer battery for the bike. I put one in the GSX-1000 and it's great. I did talk to Dave about that. Apparently they don't last long either. They don't like the yeah, okay, Wes. Well, I've heard mixed reviews, and Dave was saying no, stick with just lead acid. I can't remember the reasoning behind that, but yeah, he was saying they're not as effective as just your standard old battery. Oh, I think he was saying if you ride it like long term, say your commute's like an hour long, 2 hours long, fair enough. But if you're riding it short periods every day, he said it's not so good for those batteries, that type. Where's my alcohol? Is it midday yet? 5 o'clock somewhere. Kings Langley. Ah, work at Castle Hill. That's not far. Well, if you're in the area, man, drop in. Say good day. Might just set that. Meh. Set it horizontal-ish. Just let the alcohol sit on it for a bit. Soften up that flux. This is 99.97% isopropyl. You don't want to smoke around it. That's for sure. Alex, how you going, legend? One of the Alexes. We've got one of the two Alexes here. I don't know, that's not my experience. Long rides Short rides, not riding for a month. Just kept going. Do use a battery tender though. Okay. Yeah, that's probably the key there, Wes. Martin Reed, he's back. My boss years ago had a Bro... What? A Bro Superior in his garage with a stuck valve. I don't know what happened to it. Only pre-war bike guaranteed to do 100 mile an hour. Really? Never heard of them. I'll have to look them up. Where were they made, Martin? I wonder, Wes, if it's affected by the cylinder configuration, because the biggest issue with the Aprilia is the 60-degree V-twin and the 12.5 to 1 compression ratio, so it's really hard on the starter motor. Love ISO. Only thing that disintegrates cannabis. Really? Cannabis residue. So you use it to clean your bong and your hash pipe and shit. Huh. Thought water would do. Well, I guess not. Yeah. Otherwise your bong would be self-cleaning, wouldn't it? This flux is pretty stubborn. Mighty vape medicinal use. Sure. I remember, do any of you guys watch Scruff Dog? One of Big Clive's mates. Does live after Clive, a bit like this. Me live streaming after Lyle. He got so stoned on his stream once, it looked like his eyes were going to fall out of his head and roll across the floor. Now this is the JCM 2000 series. DSL 401. They also do a 201, which has got 2 EL84s, not 4. And they're, as far as I know, unaffected. Well, I've never seen it. They're unaffected by the bias drift issue. Because the boards look like it's a different material. It's like a cream-colored board. I don't know why they chose a different material for these as opposed to the other ones. The problem with these is they bias the EL84s way too hot, so they from the factory they can cook the board that way. But I've seen ones with really severely burned boards around the output valves, and they're still not conducting. They're still not running away. So yeah, if you see a DSL 201 or 401, even if the board looks shit, they're still maybe okay. Why have I got like 20 pencils here? Never even use a pencil. Miss Lyle's chat today had a lot of guitars and basses to finish. You do, are you a tech? Alex? You a guitar tech? Or luthier? That someone tried to correct me the other day on Facebook. I'm not a luthier. I don't consider myself a luthier. I consider myself a guitar tech. Because I don't build guitars for a living. I just fix them. I don't think that makes me a luthier. But people love to swing that term around like a big fucking Dick. I'm a Lucia. Nah, you're not. I've seen your work. Yeah, I don't consider anyone that doesn't get the majority of their income from building guitars from scratch. I don't consider them a Lucia. Hey, you're a guitar tech. Well, you got your own business, Alex, or you work through a shop, or what? I think you achieved that title, Wes, by figuring out how to make a profit enough to live off by building stringed instruments. If you can figure out how to make a living off building stringed instruments, you're a fucking Lucia. And I take my hat off to you. Not that I wear hats. But you know what I mean. Not a hat guy, eh? Used to wear a cowboy straw hat for a while. And go out drinking at the beach or something. It's a little bit like a Maynard James Keenan style hat. Used to tech for Leader 4, Jesus. The Plasmatics, Blue Oyster Cult, and HSAS had to retire because of retinitis. Is that like, well, obviously something to do with your eye. What's retinitis? What does it do? Leader 4, Jesus. Got bloody royalty here. Didn't know that, mate. So you do everything then, eh? Refrets the whole lot. Broken headstocks, all that gear. Had a whole bunch of rewire and refret jobs in the last week or so. Just a whole bunch of them all at once. It's funny, and other techs can probably attest to this. Some jobs seem to come around like in waves. Like you'll get periphery is failing. Oh, that'll... You need depth perception to do it, that's for sure. Most people going to culinary school, most people call themselves a chef, but they're just cooks. Yeah. I've actually heard of chefs, cooks, even say that they think the title is overused and applied to people who don't really deserve it. Kind of wild to me. So yeah, a chef's like someone to me that has full control over the menu. Maybe not full control because management would be involved to some degree, but someone who has a large degree of control over the menu. Like I don't see a pub bistro where they've got like maybe the most gourmet thing there on there is a surf and turf. I don't see them as a chef, but they can still be really good at their job and fantastic. I have utter respect for particularly bistro chefs because cooks because the massive pressure they're under. Probably the most fancy restaurant I've been to would be Rock Pool in Sydney. And I had goat. I remember it well. It was for Michelle's work party. Fucking, I wouldn't be shouting it. Jesus. Yeah. Work Christmas party, I think it was. At Rock Pool. And yeah, it's like the service was fucking amazing. But what we often like to do, and it's the same owner of that restaurant, Neil Perry. There's a restaurant under Rockpool, which is a bit more my style, and it's Hanan style Chinese, and Szechuan style Chinese, and it's really dark and dingy. It's like a basement. You don't even know it's there. You push on a fucking digital billboard, and it opens, and that's the entry to the restaurant. Then you go down the spiral staircase like 3 stories, and you wouldn't know it's there. It's like secret. Yeah, it's called the Spice Temple. So that's under the rock pool. That's more my kind of hang. Fucking hot food, man. So much chili. Cocktails, awesome. We went there during Dry July, and their non-alcoholic cocktails were just as good as their alcoholic ones. Really good place. We must get there soon again. But, you know, you go to the city and sort of do yourself a disservice if you keep going back to the same place. But, I don't know, like, if it's really good, you feel like you should reward them with your business, you know? And it's predictable. You know that you're not going to be disappointed. There's nothing worse when you're in the city and you know you've only got one chance at finding a good place, and in that night, say you're only in the city for one night, and you go somewhere and it sucks, and you're like, oh, well, is that chance gone? The other place we like going in the city is Pony at the Rocks. Just more of a grill. But they do all like crocodile and kangaroo and stuff. So, and duck. They do a lot of duck. More gamey meats. Very good. Well, champions, the hurricane is not coming to South Carolina. Carolina. Celebratory steaks headed for the grill in short order. Was there a hurricane in there? How come I haven't heard of that? I know about the monsoon in China, in Taiwan. That was fucking devastating, man. Should see the houses. It's like your whole house is buried in fucking mud now. Like, and now the mud's dry. So you want your possessions back. Here's a shovel. Give me 6 months. Fuck. Gonna happen more and more, champions. It's like in my industry, there is nebulous but high sounding title of technical director. It's utterly meaningless. It's catch call for anyone who does art on a computer. It's a bit like audio engineer, Wes. Could be the guy who's fucking you know, doing heroin in the bathroom between guitars, open mic sets, sitting at the mixer drooling on it. Or it could be the guy producing, you know, the next fucking tour of whatever. They're both audio engineers. It all depends on the gig, I guess. Sorry, I'm not getting much work done today. It is Sunday. And we've got 8 minutes left. So, let's just talk shit, eh? I'm good at talking shit. It's one of the things I'm best at. It's like amp builders too, Wes. It seems like if you assign yourself the title, there's potential there for wankery. I mean, you've seen some of the most, you know, highly regarded amp builders in the world, and you've seen their products come across here and what actual reality is. So anyone can talk themselves up, but what matters is what they produce and how consistently they produce it. What? But mate, Black Dharma, cowbell autographed. Nice, more cowbell. Hey Ben, what's going on, legend? What's going on, legend? Or the title producer? What does that even mean? Yeah, like someone was saying, Rick Rubin. He just sits in the corner and with his sunglasses on and nods. And he's the producer. No, I am a fan of Rick Rubin and his production. Being a producer is more about being a like a psychiatrist to the band more than anything else, I think. Trying to keep everyone in line and keep producing stuff and keep everyone happy. Produce means pay for everything, yeah. Boutique. Oh, yeah, it's a good one. I'm going to use that. It's a boutique amp. Ah, oh, that's the best term yet. I'm going to give that. Can I give that a thumbs up? No, I don't know what to do. Pin message. That's what I can do. It's a boutique amp. It just means it's expensive. Alright, so I've lost my drive and ambition. I'm just going to show you something I did. I'll finish that amp off later on. I've got to go and remember that I've got a wife. And I've got to go and help my brother with some stuff. We're going on a camping weekend next weekend, so we've got to fix his car up and get it ready to rock. He's decided last minute that he's welding and fucking fabricating his own tray. So we've got to make sure that's finished. He was going to leave it until the next trip. But, yeah, he decided last minute. He got a welder in his hand and got super keen, so now he's got to get it finished for this trip, which is 1 week away. But I finished the cabinet for the Cranky Karen. So, for the 15mm birch ply. Camera. There we go. I was a bit nervous about the pinstriping because I had limited success with it before. But I got a few tips off Alex, my mate from Serious Amps. If you're a fan of Alex, go over and say g'day to him because he's having a few health issues and he's not in a very good mood. So you'd cheer him up if you go over and just drop him a line and say g'day. So Serious Amplification, SIRIUS Amplification, like the star system. Say g'day to Alex, drop him a line, say wish him well. I'm gonna give him another ring. Actually, it's been probably a week since we last chatted in person, well, you know, video chat. Go give him a follow too. In fact, I'll make it easy for you. I'll go find his channel. Serious Amplificationage. YouTube. Alright, let's start with Facebook, then we'll go Insta, then we'll go YouTube. He's on everything, champions. Alright, let's start with YouTube. Go over and drop him a line on one of his videos. Or go to Insta and follow him. I should say. And go to Facebook if you're on that evil platform. Just as bad as Insta. And follow him there too. And drop him a line and say, wish him well. Got to stay in touch with everyone, champions. Got to stick together, you legends. Right, so 15mm birch ply. And I was nervous about doing these because I've tried it in the past with limited results and I'd accidentally split it or whatever. Alex told me, you're not using heat. You got to preheat it. So you put the 3mm route, 3x3 or 3x2, because you allow, say, 3/4 mil or 1/2 mil for the Tolex. Just lay it on over it as if it's not there. Then get the heat gun out, heat up that area, and then push the pinstripe in. And because it's hot, the glue will let go and it will it'll push down inside the slot and then house it in there. And then what I do is just to lock it in so it doesn't come out, I get some ultra thin super glue, quickly run a bead down it, and then quickly wipe it off again so you don't get the hazing on the surface, and that just locks it in. Doesn't change the way it looks, but just makes sure it doesn't push its way back out again. But I think doing it this way, even without doing that, as long as you staple the ends, you'll be safe and sound. So we've got a finger joint cab. We've got a large round over. Now there's a trick to doing this round over. See how it's not equal? It's not a quad. It's actually a larger diameter, and that's not a full 90 degree. That's not a full quadrant there. If you were to follow this line around, the end of the radius would probably be like a good 1/4 inch below the surface. So there's a few different ways to do it. I just cut it oversized and then cut a bit off with the router bit. The other thing you can do is put an oversized panel in here and run the router off this face, so the router will overshoot a little bit, and that's how you get that genuine Marshall looking curve. Because every time you see a boutique one and it's just got the bull nose, it just doesn't look right, and that's what I did on my 18 water, and it doesn't look right. But you know, it is what it is. Do it like this from now on, and it looks really nice. So here's the gorgeous face on it. I've got a leather badge somewhere. I've got to dig them out. I can't find them. I'll put them somewhere safe. I mentioned earlier in the stream. And I'm going to just tack in a little blob of silicone on the back just to lock it in. It'll have the leather Brad's Guitar Garage on there with its stamp. The same stamp that's used to make the straps that are in the thumbnail of this video. Now, likewise here, see you've got like a knife edge down there. So that's a 12mm front panel. The router bit actually ends about here when you're doing it. So that way you've got good clearance. You can see all your controls. You can be standing up at your amp, look down, even directly above it, you can still see the controls. Great visibility. That's how I think all front panels should be done. There's so many that you can't see the control until you lean over. Once you've had your amp for 6 months, you know what the controls are. You don't even need to look at them, but yeah. I've done the gold beading around the edge as well, just for that extra touch. I don't have chassis screws separate to the feet. They're actually going into the chassis, so very minimalist on the bottom there. The only thing I'll do in the next time, every time I do a cabinet, I write notes. Oh, I should do this different next time. They're getting better and better each time, but I'm glad I've done a bunch before I start producing them commercially, because I want everything to hit 100% once I start manufacturing a line of amps, and that may happen next year. Frankly, ordering shit and stocking enough things to keep the reps happy and everything is becoming fucking painful. If you don't sell fucking 20 grand's worth of stuff a month, they want to try and pull your dealership off you. And people don't want fucking production amps anymore. They want customs. So there's probably a better market for me manufacturing my amps than trying to fucking sell commercial ones, to be honest. Unless it was like Friedman or Sir or something. But trying to sell like boxes or whatever, you can't compete with the fucking discount stores that order pallets of them and then charge like, I'd have to make a loss to match the price. So they want something they can't get anywhere else, and I can give them that. Champions. Anyway, so I've got a rubber foot there. It's like hardened rubber, almost feels like plastic, but you can dig your nail into it. So nice and firm. Stainless fasteners, and I put just the little plug on there because that was just a holiday build. But if I produce these with my own designs, I'll have a custom front panel, different front panel. Possibly not plexi, because I'm not a fan of plexi. You tighten stuff up only so tight and it cracks, and I'd probably go like an anodized aluminium, not necessarily gold either, but with maybe a UV print, that kind of thing. Like a textured UV print would be really nice. But yeah, I've just used off-the-shelf shit for this, to just use the spare trainings I had lying around, transformers I had lying around. Fuck, I used the T-slur. And yeah, I just used whatever stuff was off the shelf. And in this case, you got your two inputs there, which are like Fender style input with your two grids, grid stoppers there. Plug into that one, it's hot and bright. Plug into that one, it's a bit less hot and a bit less bright. And then you got your three-way cathode there on the just like the Dirty Shirley. Nice gold handle there. This is from Evatco. Not cheap, but good quality. Heavier duty than the one I got on the 18 water, but nice gold end caps, which I think are a nice touch. I like the Marshall look with no logo. Yeah, but then it just looks like a clone, you know. It looks like a DIY build. But you can see there, we've set the chassis back so the knobs aren't proud. So if you are shipping this around, it'd be good to have a cover, but if you are shipping it, you won't snap the knobs off because they're They're behind the front edge there, which is critical. On the back, now I did have a rear panel for this, but the printing was wrong, which is part of the reason I got the chassis kit so cheap, like $50 or something. Because it said like output, 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 output on the silk screen. So I should have kept that, but I threw it out, I think. I should have kept it and just put stickers above it, but we're just going bare aluminium now, and I'll just put some labels on. This is my personal amp. I'm not going to sell this, I don't think, so unless I make the next best thing, champions. Stainless steel, perforated mesh, which I've got a nice number 4 brush finish on it. Very nice look. Just take the rear cover off. I've got machined threaded inserts for all the screws except for the front panel. I've just used timber screws there because it's not like you're removing it all the time. But the rear cover, we've gone with demon nuts or threaded inserts into the cleats, and I've changed the way I make the cabinets internally a little bit too, and it just seems like a 4-sided, 5-sided cabinet, 6-sided, you know what I mean. But there is a bit to it, getting it spot on, getting it right. So even though it's just a simple head cab, rectangular cab, there's little touches that make it fucking bulletproof. Now I've just gone with staples here because we're only dealing with 12mm. You could use little stubby screws, but staples are fine. Nothing rattles. It's good, and I've taken it almost to the edge of the Tilex, so it acts like a heat shield. You've probably seen a lot of these cabinets where the Tilex peels off where it's exposed to the heat near the valves. I've got the rectifier solid state recto in this, but you normally have a rectifier valve there as well, which you can put in this and adjust the bias to suit the different voltages. But it acts like a heat shield. It goes almost all the way up to the cleats, so your Tilex won't peel back. And it'll also dissipate the heat a little bit from the valves, and act like a heat shield. Speaking of heat shields, even though you don't need shielding on the top, I've got 0.5mm aluminium flashing. You can buy it in rolls from the hardware. It's got 2 purposes. It holds the Tilex down as well where it gets hot, but it also distributes and reflects the heat from the valves and stops it from affecting the timber and the Tilex in that area. Yeah, I think that's a good touch. And yes, that's a Drake output transformer I had lying around, and a Drake JTM45 power transformer that I had lying around. So the other thing that holds the Tilex back is the cleats. So normally I used to put them on before Tilexing and lay the Tilex over it and then put threaded inserts through the Tilex. I've gone a different route this time. I've just dry fixed them. And that holds the Tilex down as well. So no chance of it peeling, even if you did have a rectifier valve here with the heat. You've effectively screwed the Tilex down on the ends too. So and same goes on the front. No chance of it peeling back. Let's just take the Jazzy out. Give you a quick look at the bottom. So these screws are massively oversized because it's all I had floating around. I've got to get some 35mm screws there that you don't have to spend half an hour winding in and out. Just number 2 Phillips M5 screws into M5 cage nuts, all stainless steel. What a well-appointed player. Sorry, the heart's in the way. Player resource design. You have my envy. Don't be envious. Just make one, mate. Know what I'm saying? The only thing wrong with it is the fucking tube amp doctor valves in it. They seem to be stable though, so who knows? Maybe I've got a good set. But tube amp doctor have to do a bit of groveling to me after lying about their issues with their valves and denying it was an issue. Very dishonest in my opinion. Screwing. There we go. Oh. All right, so down the bottom, same deal. We've gone 5 mil, 5 mil, fuck, 0.5 mil flashing on the bottom. This has been contact glued in place. So I sprayed some, just like auto trimmer or contact glue. Actually, I think I might have just rolled that on and just stuck it in place. So no need to use staples there. It's solid as, and no chances of rattling. Sometimes if you just use staples, you can get rattling. But yeah, using the glue, you've got a solid sort of film there on the surface. But that's also got the double duty of overlapping the Tolex and making sure that none of that peels back as well. So a few things I'd do differently. Make the cabinet maybe a tiny bit wider. See the chassis holes are almost cutting through the piping there. Just like really bad luck. They just happen to land right there with the chassis. I should have measured that first and compensated for it. Gone out like another 5-10 mil each side. But I was trying to keep it at 500 wide because I want to make some cabinets, small box cabinets that are 500 wide, half a meter. So there you go. There's the cab. Only thing you've got to do now is put the badge on and we're done. You've seen the amp before, but I'll just give you another look up the skirt. Amp-wise, I think I'll do differently next time. We'll just go with coax in a few spots, which I'm going to retrofit in this because it's okay at the current level, but I want to put an effects loop over here. So now you've got high-level effects loop signals near your input stage, potential for oscillation. So I'm probably going to reroute these, well, redo the wiring to the grids on the first valve and coax them. And when I install the Metro effects loop, which I got floating around because I pulled out of an amp for a customer and knocked $50 off his labor cost to hang on to it. He said, yeah, I don't want an effects loop, you can have it. So I said, oh, well, let me give you a discount on the labor. So I gave him $50 off the labor just to hang on to that. Just being pre-assembled. Alex from Serious Amps makes a PCB and he's got the bill of materials on there to make your own. Jace at Head First, or Evolve DIY now, he makes one either pre-assembled so you can just fit it yourself, or you can build a thing from scratch. He's just got the bare boards as well with the bill of materials and instructions. So that's going to go like there. So kind of in close proximity of the input. So I'll see how that goes. I might just do a dry run with it sitting there, or just maybe down a bit like there, and just with the coax, just make sure there's no oscillation, because it is a pretty compact, pretty tight cabinet and chassis, and there's potential there for a bit of crosstalk. So anyway, we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. But besides that, this amp's one of my favorites. It's really fun to play, and I really enjoy playing it. So that's my layout there with the turret board. I might play with the value of this cap over here though, because it is a little bit dark. I'm finding myself more and more with some speakers taking the treble up to like 7 or 8 and presence up to 7 or 8. So we might either put a resistor in series with that, changing how much it affects, or maybe get rid of it entirely and see what it sounds like. But it's only a 47, so I think I might be looking upstream for some differences up there. Maybe change the feedback loop a bit as well, the negative feedback. Just play with some values there. It's really good. And once you set the the presence and the treble up to those settings, you're in fucking heaven. But I'd like to see those settings be where they are, closer to 12 o'clock, you know. I like to have everything sounding like it should, everything sounding, feeling good as a bass level tone, as closely as you can to all the controls being at 12 o'clock, and then modify from there, you know. Anyway, let's get this thing back in the cabinet, because I haven't got time to deal with that shit now. I've really got to just head down, ass up, and get some work done. But it's Sunday, and I don't feel terribly enthusiastic about working at the moment, so I'll get this together, have a quick chat with you while I'm doing so, and then might take off, go to the Springwood local farmers market. if Michelle's awake. Hey Michelle, are you awake? I didn't make her a coffee this morning because she was pretty dead asleep still. Yeah, spend time with my lovely wife. That's right. Fucking seedlings died from a vegetable garden because it got too hot. I still had them in the like seedling starter thing, container thing, because I started growing them like when it was still winter. I forgot to take them out. I think I might make a solar powered fan that flows air through it when the sun's up, and that'll just literally a little solar panel and a 12-volt fan, and that'll, or maybe 6-volt fan, 5-volt fan, and that'll just get a bit of airflow happening as soon as the sun's up. Yeah, probably need to start growing my seedlings indoors. I'm trying to grow the tomatillos champions because you can't buy them anywhere in Australia. Be the only one with fresh tomatillos this side of fucking Mexico. Celebrating your 14th wedding anniversary tomorrow. Good on you, Wes. What's 14 years? You know how they got like paper and fucking copper, and what's the material for the 14th year? I had the same issue on my build. What I did was adding 100k from treble cap to wiper. Okay, so just basically another a bleed. And upping the 47 slope to 56k to compensate for the lower treble pop value. Okay. Yeah, so just playing with the tone stack. That'll get you there. Cutting down fasteners is allowed. Yeah, I know. It's just a pain in the ass. I haven't got my grinder in that here. If I did it at home, I'd just lop it off with a cut-off disc, and then a quick hit on the bench grinder or linisher. But yeah, I don't have those filthy tools at my shop. They're at home. They're at the home workshop. Hey mate, guess when my gig is today? The pub opposite Richmond Air Base is 40,000 people. Oh, because I've got the air show on there, don't they, Michael? The air show. I thought that was... Is that still on today? I thought it was just Saturday. So that's the Clarendon, yeah, Michael. The Clarendon Hotel. I got a bunch of my customers play there regularly. I haven't been there for ages. Last time I went there we were on a bike ride. We came back from the Putty Road. We stopped there for a beer on the way home. And they had, I'd say, like titty barmaids, but they were completely naked. Like fucking pubes out and everything. And they were serving beers. And we were just chatting away with them. I was single at the time, I think. Maybe. And we're just chatting away, like, casually, and, oh, yeah, so, yeah, oh, talking about the weather and, you know, the economy and shit, and she's just fully naked. And my mate is a bit more shy, and he just couldn't get over it. He's like, he had to leave. He's like, oh, that's what's so weird, man. It's so weird. I can't look at them. It's like, dude, they're just naked. They're just people that are naked. And, yeah, we're just chatting away, and we're talking about food and different cheeses, and this chick's just fully naked. They're like acting as if nothing's up at all. Yeah, that was funny. I don't think they do that anymore, but I think that was when it might have been owned by bikies. So you get that kind of shit. Just having a casual chat about culinary delights. We actually met 40 years ago, but I moved away to go to college, got back together 16 years ago. Really? There you go. Legend. What are you doing for it, boys? Are you going out? I think there's a massive delay in the chat, because I'll say something and then people will react to it like 45 seconds later. Long latency. Oh! Maybe we will do another hour. One thing I've got coming up, champions, which you'll be very interested in. Almost forgot. I just acquired a neat little package. Oh. He had it listed publicly, so he probably doesn't care if I say anything, but got it from the Screaming Jets, just cleared out his pedal stash. And I bought them all. We did a deal. We did a bit of horse trading. And now I've got 20 overdrive pedals. And they're all high-end shit too. We've got a Wampler. Let's go through them. Wampler Pinnacle. Got a Zen Drive. Who's that from? I don't know shit about pedals, champions. I know some of them, but Hermida Audio. And some of them clone each other too, so you don't know who's what, when, who, when. Zen Drive. Wonder if there's any of yours in here, Scotty. A white Chula. Some of them I think are snake oil, like bullshit. I played through a few of them, and as has always been the case, the only one that I actually liked was the fucking Friedman BEAD, because it actually sounds like an amp. It sounds like a real amp, even at 9 volts. Fantastic. I might hang on to this one. I've got some clones there, but having the real deal is kind of a cool thing. But yeah, I love the BEAD. It's the only thing that sounds like an amp. All the other overdrives, no matter how expensive or high-end boutique they are, they just sound like a friggin' wet fart in a paper bag. OCD. Overdrive distortion. I tried that one, wasn't a fan. I just don't like pedals, champions. That's why I bought 20 of them. But I thought, let's see which ones sound the most like an amp. Super Fat Mod. Who's that? I can't even read the writing. Oh, Keeley. It's a Keeley Super Fat Mod. So I'm going to tear all of these down. I'm going to do a demo. I'm going to get my looper happening. And we're going to compare every single fucking pedal in this box, plus some extras that I've got lying around. We're going to do a master overdrive comparo video. Quick cuts. Same guitar sample through every pedal. Same amp. And I'm going to do it through my deluxe reverb, which is a beautiful sounding thing. I was playing that last night, just thinking how fucking amazing I am that I built it. So we're just going to try it through a clean amp, like a deluxe reverb. Compare every one of them, mic it up with the SM57, just basic setup. Timmy! Yeah, Timmy. Plexitone. Carl Martin. Every time something says Plexi, the back of my head just goes, fuck off, Plexi. It wouldn't sound a fucking thing like a Plexi. And this one here, Purple Plexi. I did try this one, and it's one of the least Plexi sounding things I've ever heard in my life. It sounds more like a Hot Rod Deluxe than a Plexi. So I don't know where they get off naming this shit, but it's nothing like a fucking Plexi. But I'll just get told I'm using it wrong or something. Yeah, you know what pedal fanboys do. Deluxe reverb. Ew. No, it's overdrive sound great through a deluxe reverb, Scotty. What do you mean? Slightly scooped? What do you mean? What do you use them through? Do you use them for boosting the front end of a Hot Marshall? Triangle Big Muff. Looks pretty rectangular to me. One I am very curious about. Hang on, we'll get there. We're digging. Mythos. One I am very curious about is this one down here, the Boss. OD200. Golden Fleece. More. It's got a knob that says more. And some Greek god. 9 volt power only. Warranty void if incorrect power used. Well, how do they prove it? OD into JCM 800. Oh, we can do that too. I've always got an 800 floating around here, waiting for pickup. Tried this one. It's the best looking one, but it's also one of the worst sounding. Looks very high class, like they're going for the Neve look with those knobs. It looks very high class, but I don't know. Sounded like arse. But anyway, we'll try it out proper. I'll look into them a bit too to see how they're supposed to be used, because I'm just shooting from the hip here right now. I just plugged them into a clean amp and half of them sounded like arse. But like I said, I'm not an overdrive pedal fan, which is why I bought 20 of them. So this one here, from what I gather, has a few different little personas up its sleeve. So I'm interested to try out this one, because that could be possibly a pretty versatile little unit. Not full modeler, but that into a decent amp could be pretty powerful. A few different Jekylls and Hydes in that box. Overdrive equals distortion pedal. Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't see that there's any discerning difference. Back in the day, like before I knew any better, I thought that overdrive pedals were like from overdriving one stage into the next, and distortion pedals actually had diode clipping, but it's not really the case. I mean, they all distort. Everything distorts. I don't even know what this is. Nemesis. Oh, there's a delay. I thought they were all overdrives. Yeah, got a delay pedal. Cool. I don't own a delay pedal at the moment. This might come in handy. Speaking of come in handies, electro harmonics, rotary speaker. Okay, so there is some other stuff here, not just overdrives. I probably could have looked at the listing, but that's some weird. It looks like it's been blacked out with texture or something. Strange. They feel like fakey switches. Maybe just momentary. Not a fan of the broadcast either. Ah, so it's not just me then. Let's see what that sounds like. Some of the electro harmonic stuff's pretty low quality build, but a nice rotary speaker. I'm probably just going to put them all up for sale once I've tested them all, because like I say, I'm not a big pedal guy. But who knows, might hang on to one or two of them. Start a pedal board, go down that fucking rabbit hole. What we got here? Light speed, organic overdrive. Organic. Well, it's made from fucking, you made the semiconductors out of carrots, did you? Greer amps. Product of Athens, Georgia. Oh, it comes with a sticker. Pedal Empire. Oh, that's the red flag. And you got the handwritten serial numbers. That's always a red flag. That's special. You've got number 1. That's because you made 3 of them and couldn't sell 2 of them. What do we got here? Elephant Man. And you've got the hipster pedals where you don't know what they do. They just got a knob and some silly shit on the front cover. I don't know what it even is, but being a boutique, it's probably an overdrive, because a lot of these guys can't figure out time-based effects, so they just claim to be gurus by making the world's millionth overdrive pedal. But here's me being cynical. Oh, I already looked at that one. We've got a mini chromatic tuner. Looks funny with the bottom cut off, doesn't it? It just doesn't look right. So yeah, you just have that plugged in and always on. No excuses for being out of tune then, eh? 3 diodes inside, yeah. Alright, anyway, we'll put all this shit away and we'll do a bit of a comparison video when I get 5 minutes to scratch my ass. OTS. Had one sold it, hated it. Which one was it? Klon. Is that what you're talking about, Scotty? The Klon? Yeah, I've had a few Klons, and they have this buzzy... It sounds like crossover distortion in a valve amp. I was not impressed at all. And this was... The customer kept bringing it back, saying it's faulty. And I'm like, it's just the circuit, bro. And he's like, no, I can't sound that shit because I spent heaps of money on it. I said, well, I didn't build it, dude. Everything's functioning fine. And he wasn't convinced. He thought I didn't know what I was talking about and that there was something wrong with the pedal. And there's no way that this guru pedal builder could build something that doesn't sound 100 billion% fantastic. So I must be an idiot who doesn't know what he's talking about. But I said, look, everything's operating as it should. All the measurements are what they should be. It's just what it is, man. I'm not going to redesign a pedal for someone, especially because he didn't want to pay any money. Would have balked at paying a bench fee and wants me to redesign his pedal for him. No, thank you. People like that, you'll never make him happy too. Because they're attached to the mythology of tone chasing, not any, objective results. So people like that, they're just... It's the hunt, not the catch, I'm all about the catch because then you get to eat it. Fizzy and bright. Yeah, fizzy. Yeah. And I looked up other examples of it. And the thing is, when you've got a fantastic player, they can work with fizzy and bright. They play to it. But when you've got a guy sitting there repeatedly plucking the A string and frowning at your face while they're doing it, wondering why it sounds weird, they dig in and they find the tone that sounds horrible and then they sit on it and then go crazy wondering why it sounds horrible when they spent $5,000 on pedal. But if you've got an actual player, they'll avoid whatever sounds shit. And they'll go, oh, that's a bit buzz there. And when I dig in like that, it doesn't react very nicely. So I won't do that. But a lot of customers will find a weak spot in a bit of gear and they'll dig that screwdriver in through the armor and then and it drives them insane. It's funny as, like, if you've got a bit of gear that does something not very well, use it for what it is. It does well. Like, you don't use a FZ3 for playing Akadaka. Use it for playing Fu Manchu. But, I think there's a lot of conditioning of people to think that certain products are amazing and certain builders are infallible. And then when you actually have one in your hands, it's not the case. And people get very disillusioned as a result. There are people, there's people on YouTube who are saying 80s band at 65 sounds good. Yeah, I think they sound all right, Scotty. I think they do. The speaker, not so much, but for what they are, they're pretty fucking impressive how good they made them sound compared to a lot of shit that's out today. I got a clone on Amazon for $35. Was there any good? Good guitars? Yeah, it's called marketing. Exactly, Darren. But everyone, I don't know, with certain things, people are privy to the marketing tricks, and with other things, they just, it's like it's intentional, like willful ignorance, Everyone has different tastes. Otherwise, there would only be one amp. There is only one amp, Wes. It's called a 2203. It's pretty good. Okay. That's the Amazon clone. Amaclon. I just don't fuck with pedals that much, eh? There's just too much out there. The market's so flooded. Got a JCM 800 2203 and never looked back. That's it, Scotty. Have you modified it at all, Scotty? Have you done any feedback mods or changed the clipping, changed the cold clipper value? You both got 2203s. Talking about there being only one good amp, and I agree with you. 2203. Well, in my opinion, 2204 is the best amp ever made. But 2203, 2204, just different power levels. So you just got a bone stock 2203. Okay. I'm telling you, Scotty, you should play around with a bit of a preset depth mod. It's very easy to implement, very easy to reverse. You don't need to modify anything. Just gives you that extra kick up the arse. Know what I'm saying? I have Alembic Stratoblasters on a few of my guitars. They're like they're like passive clippers, aren't they? Or do they actually have they got a battery? Or do they use power? Got a few clone clones, including the just another fucking clone clone. There you go, Mark. By the way, I tried to respond to your last photo of your meat with a photo of my meat, but I forgot to photograph it before I ate it. Mark always sends me photos of his meat. Don't worry, it's above board. With Lamar. I'm just not a big fan of post-phase inverter master volumes, eh? In some amps they can work, but not the Marshall thing. I'm not a big fan of them at all. I like just the pre-phase inverter. The PI tends to break up a bit too aggressively, in my opinion. A bit bitey. But yeah, it depends on the setup. Depends on your feedback loop, the speakers, the whole lot. Like everything. I have a soul food I never use, but I keep it so I never buy another clone. Clone. Love a treble booster in front of a Marshall. Yeah. It's that's the plexi tone, eh? Just super bright into the front end of a Marshall. Plexis actually sound pretty fucking horrible unless you push them hard, eh? That's why everyone's like, I want plexi tone. I'm like, do you though? You think you do, but if you want to, having a real plexi is like, do you remember that car they had on Top Gear? Brutus? With the fucking V12 aircraft engine in it? That's a bit like what a plexi's like. Or like a Ferrari. Like, they're not fun to drive every day. But if you have a chance to open one up, that's where they shine. But you have to be able to have that chance. I plug straight into my crate club. Do you mean cub? Club 20 watts, 10-inch speaker. Sounds like a tweed on a Steely Dan record. Nice. Now that I've got the hum out of the reverb. What was up with the reverb there, Goody? Was it the tank oriented the wrong way, or most guitarists can't even handle a plexi? You have to crank it. Yeah, and if your technique sucks, it will show up. It'll make it suck 10 times more. You need to have 100% confidence about every note you hit and how you hit it with a plexi. Because it's going to come through at 100 decibels. 120 decibels. Guys, get a room. What? Who? Get a room? My joke pedal company is named Electric Crutch. Who's getting a room? Are we supposed to, are we supposed to argue more, are we, Ted? Like we're agreeing too much for you? 130 decibels, yeah. Well, I mean, you've seen the meter behind me. What does that get to? Let's find out. And a 2x12. And this is only 50 watt. Oh, yeah, or 50, 40 watt, something like that. I was cranking it up the other day, and you guys know, you know those green Vichy, oh fuck, it's already on. The green Vichy resistors. You know, these buggers. When you first use them, there's some chemical compound that's in it from the factory. and they off gas when they heat up. So they smell. It's like almost like a, it's not a burning, but it's a hot smell. It smells like warm, like hot plastic. I think they use like a degreaser from the factory to clean them. Probably like an ultrasonic type fluid. Some sort of detergent to clean the factory schmoo off. And first time it gets hot, it sort of boils that off. And then once that's happened, it doesn't smell anymore. But the first time you use it, you get that smell. Now, in a low voltage supply where you have constant load on that resistor, like constant, you know, say 50% or 30% of its rated current, it gets hot enough to get rid of that after the first hour or so of operating the unit. But for a screen grid resistor, this has got 2.2 Ks in it, and it doesn't get hot till you crank it. So the first chance I had to really crank it up and use it like a plexi the other day, where you turn the gain down and turn the master up, it started really working the output stage, and you could smell the resistors, and it made the shop smell like hot resistor for a while there. I've had like panic calls off customers, like, you know, the Hot Rod Deluxe. I use those resistors for the low voltage supply, and they get pretty hot. And you get panic calls from the customer that their amp smells like it's burning, and it's just that resistor getting hot. So I just tend to run them for an hour or two now, so that's out of the way, so no one panics. Do we want a Strat? Let's go get the fat Strat. I was enjoying playing the SG last night. I did plug it in and had a go, just with the shitty strings that were on it. Good fun. Got the old puke Strat back. Oh, it's been here the whole time. I just snapped a string and it was due for a clean and service. Repertoire's not great at the moment, champions, so bear with me. Alright, so watch the decibel meter. And we'll play it like a plexi. We'll crank the master up and use the gain like the master. I'm hearing a slight buzz on the note there that wasn't there before. I wonder if one of the preamp valves is having an issue. There's just a funny buzz sitting under the note. I wonder if I'm getting a little bit of verge of oscillation there for some reason. I wonder if you investigate that. That's first time it's done that. It'd help if I was in tune. I just realised the mic level was down really low, so you probably didn't hear what I was talking about. I was going to go at 9, now it's 10. Time gets away from you, champions. I've got a floating trem on this one, so got to tune it a few times if it's pretty far out. I restrung it, I don't know, last week or something, and haven't really touched it since. Been using the red one. I haven't been using any guitars because I've been setting up guitars all week. Yeah, I don't know, something funny going on there. Normally it's got a bit more headroom than that. I'm wondering if I jinxed it about those tube amp doctor valves. She's still sitting at 75 watts, but yeah, the other day I was cranking a 100 watt amp here and it got to about 115 decibels or something, 100 and something. Anyway. Yeah, I might change out those tube amp doctors. I haven't had good experience with them, but I thought I'd try them in this. But yeah, not a big fan of them at the moment. Anyway, I'm going to take off, champions. So, go and enjoy your Sunday. Oh, one more thing I've got to show you. Check this out. This is pretty cool. I think Lyle was talking about lighting today. Here you got a little app. You can watch that light in the background. Look at it. Bloody Bluetooth control, mate. You change the color temp. So I can tweak stuff on the fly. Don't have to climb up on a ladder and adjust things. That thing's got some juice, man. Like you get a fucking suntan under that. Very cool. You just turn the thing off entirely. Yeah, trying to step my game up with the video and the photography. So I've got a nice pretty page to look at. It's a bit of fun. All the gear, no idea, they say. Anyway, take it easy, legends. Have a good whatever day it is. Saturday, Sunday. I'm having tomorrow off. I'm going to I think I might properly have tomorrow off because it's been a hectic week. But, you know, I'll probably end up doing paperwork anyway, like we do. Anyway, take it easy. Have a good one.